Ooh, yakety mac.
What's up, guys? Thank you for watching the video. I am Jeff. This is Yakety Mac. So we're going to get back to some basics today. We're going to do a little bit of old school fishing and a little bit of reminiscing as well. Do you recall some of your first fishing memories when you first fell in love with the sport? And when was the last time you've actually given it any thought? How about we do that today? How about you join me here for a little bit? I'm going to share some of my memories. I hope you'll share some of yours. You know, we've all got different stories, but I have a feeling there's going to be some similarities as well. So how about we do this just for some fun, guys? Get rid of all the noise for a little while. Just get back to some plain old fishing. What was your very first fishing combo? Mine was a ZEBCO 202. And boy, did I wear that thing out. And check this out, guys. I just picked this up. A ZEBCO 202 for $9. I had a sandwich combo from Firehouse yesterday that was $12. So I just picked up a ZEBCO 202 for $9. And I'm not sure, 45 years ago, what the price of a ZEBCO reel like this was, or if it was considered higher quality than they are now. But wow, I'm going to rig this up and give it a shot. I can't speak to their effectiveness back in the day, but this modern day ZEBCO 202, I'm afraid if I do get any a fish of any size on there, it might just disintegrate. So what type of fishing did you guys do in your early years? For me, it was a lot of bluegill, a lot of crappie, but the prize was always the catfish. Because when you are young, the catfish that represents the big fish, right? Yes, you catch some nice bluegill, you catch some nice crappie, but your mind was on, big epic battles with these, take you a half hour to reel it in sort of thing, so catfish was the thing. And where I grew up, we had a lot of pay lakes around, pretty close to where we lived, actually really close to where we lived. And, you pay like $6 or $7, fish from sun up to sundown. And, they stock those things mostly with channel cat. And you would go in and fish. And, you would try to cast as far as you could. In your mind as a youngster, the further out, that's where the big ones live, And so you would try to cast as far as you could. And I remember so many times, you heave back and you let it go and you see it land in the water. And then you would also see something land about 10 or 15 yards off to the side. And and you would be like, oh my God, I hope that wasn't my worm. I hope that wasn't my bait. So now you're out there and you don't know whether or not you're going to leave it or whether or not you're going to reel it in to see if that was your worm. And so sometimes, you'd reel it in, your worm would still be there and you'd be, damn it. What? So you'd go through the whole thing all over again, man. But, I remember a friend of mine growing up, my next door neighbor, he and I would go fishing all the time, AJ. And we'd be so excited the day before, and you'd be getting your poles ready, and you'd be reeling them up. And of course, you're going to put on 15, 20 pound monofilament line if you can. The big old spool of blue line from Kmart. And and you were going to need that 15 to 20 pounds, man, because you were going to catch these. You had visions of catching these huge fish. It never quite panned out that way. Oh, got a bite, got a bite. I think I got a fish. I do. Look at that, guys. Look at that little channel cat. So right on cue, I caught a little catfish. Wasn't the monsters that we hope for, but that one was more about what we ended up with a lot of times. We would catch some 2 or 3 pounders, but never did we have those ones, that, big old 20 pound blue cat or something of that sort. That actually never happened for us. You all remember watching the fishing shows back in the day? I remember, I think I remember Roland Martin and Jimmy Houston. And while they did a lot of bass fishing, they also did other types of fishing, especially some catfishing. And of course, for me and my pal, that was something that we were definitely into, because we were always chasing that elusive big catfish. And do you all remember the Jerry Clower commercials as he was hawking the magic bait? And Jerry said, "Ooh, fish love them," or however he did it. And so of course, we had to run out and get some magic bait. And I remember too the commercials come on for this bait called Little Stinker. And if you don't remember what Little Stinker was, they were like these plastic bulbs, almost like a hollow body frog. And they had the hooks on the outside of them, much like a frog does, the way they were shaped. But they had a slit in it, and you had this tube, a little stinker. It was this god awful smelling stank paste, and you would open up that bulb. You'd squeeze that bulb so it opened up, and you'd squeeze some of that stank paste in there, and of course throw it out. I don't think I ever caught a fish on Little Stinker. In fact, I'm not even sure if I ever even had a bite. But we tried the magic bait. Uh oh, here we go. Here we go. Come on now. Oh, I missed him. I missed him, guys. But tried the magic bait. Didn't have any luck with it. But I may have caught some fish. It just didn't quite pan out the way Jerry Clower said it would. I remember fishing a lot of times in that you'd be sitting there watching your poles, kind of like I'm doing now, nothing really happening. And you get busy doing something else. And then all of a sudden you'd start getting a bite. And it never seemed to fail that something would start happening while you were occupied. And so in my kid head, there would be times in which I'd be sitting here watching, nothing's happening. And I would start doing something else, but doing so with the intent of, hey, maybe if I just start doing this over here, I'll start getting some action, as though I was going to trick the fishing gods into, hey, he's not paying attention, let something hit him now. But that's how my mind worked. That's where my head was at, because it always seemed like if I got busy doing something else, I was going to get a bite. So, hell, if I wanted to get more bites, all I had to do was do something else. Pulling, rods bouncing, bouncing. It's just not hard enough. Not hard enough. He's not committing, y'all. So I'm using worms today. I got a dozen night crawlers and a tub of red worms. That's pretty much all I fished with when I was a kid. I did get into some minnows and stuff once I started fishing for crappie as I started getting a little bit older. But for the most part, it was always worms. And did you guys ever, I know being from Indiana, we would catch our own night crawlers, and you would take the water hose out in the late afternoon and just give the yard a drenching and get it nice and wet. And then you go out at night with your flashlight and your coffee can, Folgers or Maxwell House. It depended on which one your parents were drinking. And you fill it up with dirt and you shine the light, and you'd see the night crawlers coming out of their hole, but they wouldn't be all the way out. And you'd have to be really sneaky about kind of putting your hand down, like right to where they're going into the hole, and then grab them real quick, pull them on out, and drop them in the can. And of course, we always wanted to catch like 4 or 5 dozen, because we were just going to tear them up that next day. I saw that line start to move. There we go. There we go. There it is, but I have absolutely no idea what it is, guys. I'm not so sure that I remember my very first fishing experience. I think I have some vague memories, but I don't know how accurate they are. I think I remember my dad taking me to this small creek. Um, I don't remember if I caught anything or not, but I think I can remember the night before we were supposed to go being excited, and I think I remember seeing the 2 poles and a tackle box sitting by the door waiting for us to head out the next morning. I think I've got memory of that, but man, that's so long ago. I'm not sure if it's accurate or not, but I certainly remember the numerous times going on the weekends. A lot of times we'd go on Sundays to some lakes and ponds in the area. We only did river fishing a couple times, not very often. I don't even know if we would eat that day or not, to be honest with you. I don't have any memory of doing so, but I guess it really didn't matter. We'd be out there all day doing what we were doing, and maybe we had a meal, maybe we didn't. I don't think we really cared. I remember us getting into some carp fishing as well back in the day. And man, you want to talk about some fighting fish. We didn't keep them or anything, but it was just for fun. And so we had come up with this concoction, and of course, dough balls is something I'm assuming y'all have used. But you know, we would take the Wheaties, put them in a bowl, mix a little bit of water in it, and put in some shredded coconut and some vanilla extract. We would make these balls about that big around, and of course we had some treble hooks that had a coil in the middle of them, a spring coil. I'm assuming they still make those. I don't know. And so you know you'd put that dough ball on that hook right there, and that coil would help to hold it in place. And you throw it out there, and you just let it sit and let it sit and let it sit. And man, if you hooked into a nice sized carp, that was a lot of fun. I remember my dad was actually pretty good at it, and of course he had a ZEBCO 33 on this like heavy action eagle claw rod with the kind of the pistol grip on it. And you know that was like primo compared to what I had back in the day. And you know that he caught so many of those kind of fish on that rod. And I remember he, for whatever reason, he decided he wanted a bait caster. And you know, back then you didn't have the internet, but you remember the catalogs, right? The Bass Pro catalogs. I don't even know if Bass Pro had more than one store or not back then, but you know, you'd get this catalog. And I remember he ordered a bait casting reel and combo out of that catalog. But it was always so nice to go thumbing through that catalog and see all of that cool stuff. You know, that was our internet back then. Everything was catalog. Sears, you know, your car parts, a Whitney catalog, and boy, that Bass Pro catalog, that was nice. Look at that backdrop, guys. Isn't that something else? Never gets old. Never gets old. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this. You know, it was it was just something I wanted to do, kind of pay homage, I guess, to where it all started versus where it is with me now. I'm not sure if I'm more obsessed with it now than I was when I was younger or not, but amazing how some things have changed in 40 years. And again, it's amazing how some of the things haven't changed, you know, lugging all your crap down down to the bank and then having to lug it back. That hasn't changed. How about those round things that your sinkers come in? And that's how they were being packaged in, you know, the 1970s, man. So kind of interesting. I hope you enjoyed this. Hope it made you think of your own beginnings and how you got started, and where you are now versus where it all began. We've all got some sort of a beginning, right? And anyway, hope you enjoyed that. You know, I ended up catching what, 2 catfish, an unidentifiable, and an eel. And because I didn't get the right mount for my chest strap, I don't know how much the little camera over my shoulder caught, but a few little fish, several bites. Kind of fun. It takes you back every single time that pole bounces. Reaction's the same as if I was 10 years old again. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate you. Please subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Please like the video. Please share the video and leave a comment. Leave me some of your memories. You may even stir up one that I forgot myself. Thanks again, y'all. Take care, and until next time, make sure you always take time to get outside and play.